Part 1 of the Heritage Caravan Diaries.
Hello to you out there. My name is Chris Carter and you are welcome to Sister Sister, and you are actually listening on 97.3 City FM and watching on City TV and channel 363 on DSTV and 182 on Go TV. Are you in a relationship of any sort? Is it frustrating you? Are you unhappy about something? And when I mean relationship, it doesn't have to be with a man or woman only, but it can also be with your family members, your siblings, and even people that you work with, or even your friends. Well, this is that show where you get to send all your frustrations and problems that you actually need someone to help you. We will help you on this show. And once more, you are welcome to Sister Sister. Anyway, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, my sisters are right here in the studio with me. I'm going to be introducing them, so just sit back, relax, and we'll be right back. And you are welcome back, and it's Sister Sister right here. So now it's time for me to introduce my sisters, and my sisters are all here beside me, looking beautiful, glamorous, and all classy. Welcome, sisters. Rosie, the sporty, sexy Rosie. Giving us some fire with the eyeshadows.
I know, right? I actually like
some fire.
I wish I had the orange.
Well, we have some orange going on.
We do. She stole mine.
Okay, so talking about Lady Bridgerton.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
from,
ma'am.
But the Ghanaian Bridgerton. Okay, how are you?
Yes, my love. Thank you very much. I'm very well. Thank you. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. I really love the whole English vibe that you've been giving us lately.
Thank you. Sometimes we've got to go a bit English, don't we?
Okay. Of course, we have the beautiful Renee. How are you, Renee?
Very well.
I love your dress.
Thank you.
I could have taken it from you, but it's just that, I'm on the big side and you're on the petite side. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I smell some citrus, some orange, and no other person will be doing that except Bruce. Bruce,
hi.
How are you?
Very well.
We always love you on the show because you always, give us some cool drinks.
He comes very good.
Calm us down. Because the stories that come in here, fire. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So today, what are you going to be serving us? While
I'll give you a
enjoy
blue
the
kamikaze.
story?
What?
Blue kamikaze.
Blue kamikaze.
Blue?
That's right.
Okay.
Kamikaze.
Blue kamikaze. Blue kamikaze. She said the English kamikaze.
I mean, the English can mention it.
Please mention it.
Blue kamikaze.
You got it. Okay, so we're going to be having some blue kamikaze while we, discuss this story that I'm about to read. Are you ready, sisters?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump into the first story. So I wouldn't call it a story. It's always written to us. So the first letter written to us. Dear sisters, my younger sister is dating my ex-boyfriend. They met each other recently in the UK where they were both doing their MBA, and they said one thing led to another. They have been dating for the past 1.5 years, and because of my sister kept talking about this amazing man she is dating and how good he is to her. They didn't tell me until my ex-boyfriend came to ask for my permission when he wanted to propose. To my younger sister, I loved this guy so much, but things didn't work out because he cheated on me twice, and I couldn't forgive him for that. Now, he said that dating my sister, it has never crossed his mind to cheat. That he's a better person now. I'm in so much anguish. I'm in so much pain. My sister said, if I don't bless it, they'll go their separate ways. Is it a bad thing that I'm not thinking about her? I'm in a lot of pain and sorrow as I type this letter. What was it about me that made him cheat on me? But he is with my sister, and he said he has never ever thought of cheating. I know I can't tell them to separate. I have to give my blessings. But what about my pain? Sisters, how do I get over this? I I always like how we sigh anytime because these letters can be heavy sometimes, because I try to put myself in the shoes of the writer, and I'm sure we are all doing that right now. Yeah, Renee, you seem to be nodding a lot.
Yes, I've been nodding a lot because I've been trying to understand the letter you received. This thing about not letting go has come in here. Yes, she broke up with her boyfriend, but she didn't disconnect completely. I feel there's a certain emotional attachment still going on, because she says that she's pained, she's angry, like she regrets that she left him because he cheated twice. Now, this gentleman says that, yes, I'm dating your sister, but I have never thought of ever cheating on her. People change. See, you could a certain guy could be identified as an armed robber and maybe imprisoned. They come back and they are reformed and they change. A cheating partner may not always be a cheating partner. They may come at a certain point in their lives where they may have an encounter and so they stop that bad habit. So yes, he's a better person now, but unfortunately he's not with you.
Right.
And
she's your sister.
With your sister.
Blood sister.
Blood sister, and they are planning to get married. You know something? And now she feels that she has to release them. She in her letter, she wants to bless them and release them so they can go and enjoy their lives, enjoy their marriage. She's thinking of her pain. Your pain. Sit down. Accept the reality, the fact that you can't have him again. He's gone. He's gone. You see, on previous episodes, we say that you are responsible for the decision you make. At the end of the day, you're going to bear the consequences, good or bad. So please, release them. You let them go. Leave their lives to them and work on yourself. Work on yourself. She has to work on herself. The problem is not with her sister dating her ex. Now her problem is herself, because she's ready to let them go. She's ready to give them their blessings. How does she move on? Disconnect completely. Don't even talk with this gentleman, okay? Because I think the gentleman contacted her to tell her that, oh, I'm dating your little sister. That's fine. He made it known to you. I think he respected you.
But when you say disconnect, it's now part of the family. How can you disconnect from your family?
Emotionally, not from the family entirely.
Right.
You see, I think there's a lot of things lingering that she has to disconnect with. Reality has set in now. Make up your mind that the gentleman is no more for you. He's now become family and is marrying your sister very soon. Come to terms with the reality. She's not come to terms with it. You can't have your cake and you can't eat your cake and have it back. I'm so sorry.
Right.
No.
Sichope.
Okay, you know, it is unfortunate the situation she finds herself in, as in, this is someone that you have dated before, and now he's with your sister. But there's a certain aspect of love that a lot of us, or I think maybe society does not permit us to look into. Sometimes someone likes you, but not that much.
Right.
That's what people say, they are not that into you. And so when somebody is able to do certain things to you, does not mean they'll do it to the next person or with the next person in the picture. That being said, I always say this, even when I'm around my friends, look, if a guy comes to propose to you or starts dating you or even goes as far as asking you out, that guy is off my radar completely. Right. I don't want him. I don't want him to come and ask me out. I don't want him to be my close friend so that anything can go on between me and that person. It's just off tangent completely. And it's unfortunate that both of them, the guy and her sister, did not choose that option. Yeah. They just decided to date. And for me, the guy is annoying. If you've dated my sister for all this while and you are now deciding to propose, what's my business? You didn't consider me when you wanted to date my sister. Why are you not considering me? So if you had dated her and decided to break up with her, it would have been okay. And then now that you decided to, now that you decided to marry her, you are now telling me, like, what exactly do you want from me? But for the sake of her own sanity, she look at it from a very open-minded perspective. He wasn't your person to begin with. Right. Even if you had married this person, he would have gone ahead and cheated his entire life or his entire marriage with you. Just count your losses and move on. He's left you, he's going to marry your sister. Good riddance. Let him go. Bless them. But I think it's one of those situations also where you don't want to, they say old firewood lights fast house again. Yes. So you just don't want to find yourself in their space often. And one good thing about family and marriage and all that, she's going to get married to this person. They are going to move on with their lives and live their life. You don't have to see them every time. Yeah. So that's the beauty of it. They are going to be in their own home and their own space, and you are going to not have to deal with them every time. So let them go. Right. Let them go. Right. He's not yours to start with. So,
Rosie.
See, I know people who have dated somebody 10 years, 15 years. When I get married, I'm still studying the person. They'll leave that relationship, go into another relationship, 6 months, they already getting married. Yeah. So I think, like I said, people are different things, or people occupy different spaces in people's lives. So one man's meat, another man's poison. Yeah. So for you, if the man really liked you, he wouldn't have cheated on you to begin with. Yeah. If he really respected you and really wanted you, he wouldn't have gone to the extent to which the relationship will break. Yeah. Now, it's possible that even though he didn't like you and everything, probably met your sister here and there, but because, when people know each other, for instance, you start in the same class with somebody, the person may not be your friend, and you find yourselves out of the country and you meet. Just because you've met each other before, there's this level of familiarity in a foreign land. Oh, I know you. Oh, I used to date your sister, and you also know me. Yeah. So because of that familiarity in a strange land, without the sister's prying eyes to see, things fostered. And he was like, look, you know what? This is probably what I've always been looking for. This is like your sister, but this is it. Yeah. This is what I've been looking for.
This is your sister, but this is it.
No, for want of a better word. No, for want of a better word, like, this is actually what I've been looking for. Yeah. And ever since he found himself engaging with this lady, he's never even had the need to cheat or anything. But like Sicho said, for me personally, what I think is that, look, if a man comes to chase my sister, remotely even mentions the thought of having feelings for my sister, even my friend, that person is off grade. Yes. For me, personally, that because I want to avoid some of these things. That person is off grade. Number two, if it becomes critical for you to want to date that person, even before the start of the relationship, I would expect the sister to sort it out with her own sister. So I'd expect the sister to go to Charlie, sis, this is your ex-boyfriend. Right now, me and him are in the same school. Charlie, he'd be a nice guy, but some way. At least start talking about it to your sister. Let your sister know that the two of you are getting closer. Because you see, when he gets married to her, like Sicho said, they would have, maybe the marriage would take them to a different house. They probably only have to meet if there's a family gathering, a funeral, outdooring, or in a different country or something that will bring them together. But you see, there's this space that sisters have to occupy for themselves. Once you go ahead, once these two people marry, that space will be contaminated. So that sister vibe, that sister love, anytime he sees the sister, he would see the sister as that woman who stole her man, quote unquote, even though we all know that the man did not leave her because of the sister. No. But in her mind, she will be thinking that this is my sister who actually eventually ended up with my ex. And that wouldn't augur very well for their sister relationship. So, but as a sister, she didn't send it. It's the sister who sent it in. So for the sister who sent, what I'll say is that, look, you are better off without a man who really doesn't want you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even the men, even in situations where the men want you, Mpono.
You have to think.
Let me bat my eyelashes well.
Yes.
Even in situations where the men want you, Impo, look, the kind of things that happen. If they want you, so in a case where the person doesn't want you, you are actually better off allowing the person to go.
Yeah.
It's not like you are married and you're now divorcing and you now have to go through all the rigmarole processes of divorcing. But it's a relation, it's an ex thing. The man didn't want you. The man came for your sister. The dynamics of that, we can discuss that. But in that you sent in the letter, I would say that let the man go. You are better off without a man who doesn't want you.
Right.
A man who tells you in the face that, yes, I cheated on you. It means that you were not worth it. But with your sister, I have not, the thought has not even crossed my mind. It means that for him, your value in his eyes is on a different level. So for me, knowing that, I'll let you go. I don't like holding on to men when I know they are not mine.
Yes.
I mean, those times there was a time I was dating this guy. He even went and saw my mother, and he wants to marry me. Meanwhile, I told him not to go and do things like that. He said, and I just want to know where you are, where you live. The next thing I knew, my mother was saying that, this guy says he wants to marry. The next thing I know, I was there, and then I heard that, this guy has submitted wedding invitation to somebody who is a school friend of mine. I went to check her. Is this same my boyfriend whose house keys I had? You understand? And he was getting married to somebody that I knew.
Oh my God.
What did I do?
You shared this
I just said, look, Charlie, the guy went to the supermarket, apples and oranges. He chose one. And for me, you see, the man who wants you cries just wahala. Then the one who doesn't want you. And then later on, I called them and I said, so my guy, you see, my only problem is that you went to my mother to tell my mother that you wanted to marry me. That's my only problem. The fact that you have chosen what you chose is not my problem. But you see, if you knew you were not serious, why force me to go to my house to go and tell my mother that kind of, that was my only problem. But aside that, I didn't have any problem. I said, I'm sorry, there's nothing to explain. You went to supermarket, oranges, apples, you chose one. End of story. And I think we ladies too, we should start doing things like that. When the man is coming around you, the man is showing signs of not wanting to be with you 1 year, 2 years, you're counting a decade. He's promised you, the promise ring is even a decade old. And you're here saying, he's my boyfriend, you are playing mother, you are playing wife, you are playing concubine, you are playing house help, you are playing all kinds of things. Look, I think that, let this guy go. He doesn't want you. He doesn't want to have anything to do with you. The issue about you and your sister, your relationship, the issue about whether your sister should have even considered it in the first place, that's an issue for another discussion. But for you, the one who sent in the letter, in my opinion, don't be hurt. You should rather be thanking your stars that this man did not get married to you and will be looking at your sister whilst married to you. So thank your stars that he left you when he left you. He cheated on you. Sometimes when bad things happen to us, it's actually God revealing himself to us. Because I've said this several times that horrible things have happened to me and I'll be complaining, only for me to find out that there was a way out that was even better than what I was complaining about. Me, I've done marriage material plenty times. My husband, I didn't do marriage material for him.
And now here you are married.
Yes, no, I didn't. Look, listen, the people I did marriage material for 100 yards. I did the whole works. Charlie, I know sit up. This one I didn't do marriage material. The next thing I knew, when he was proposing, I didn't even know I was his girlfriend. So at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is that look, it's true.
Miracles happen.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that, look, sometimes we have plans, we have directions, but you know, the universe has a way of designing things for us. There's a reason why he met you, there's a reason why he cheated on you, and that's why you couldn't help it, you couldn't forgive it. So what are you hurting over somebody who cheated on you for? Let him go. And be with the person that he promised never to cheat on, or he hasn't even caused his
May
mind
he
to
never
stop.
cheat on him.
Yeah, may you never cheat on your sister. Let him go. And please, don't follow your sister with bad energy.
Exactly. That was what I was coming to. It is very important. You see, that there's a way a pastor put this once that made so much sense. He said, when you see other people getting blessed around you, just be happy. Because it means the blessing is in your neighborhood. It's coming to you.
Yeah.
This is very important for her own
sanity
and her own gifts and blessings, not to elude her, that she is happy for her sister in this moment, regardless of which part of the equation they got wrong, both the sister and the guy, for her to be happy for her and the guy, that this marriage, she shouldn't follow it to any bad energy, she shouldn't use any animosity, she shouldn't make any plans like, yeah, I hope it doesn't go, I hope he cheats on you too. None of that energy is needed here. For her own blessing not to elude her, she should just leave it be. Let karma do its own work. Get out of it.
Right, and when she exudes that happiness and positivity, it will help her heal faster. What she says she's had will help her heal faster, and then she can move on faster. God knows, I mean, who knows? She can end up in another relationship.
When you're holding on to something, you can't see what is
you can see.
I'll agree on that. So mostly all our advice right now is more about healing. Let yourself heal. Let go so you can actually heal. And I think it's very important. Thank you so much, sisters. We'll be jumping into the next story, but how's the drink though?
Sweet. Can we please have the name again?
Blue Kamikaze.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so while we're enjoying our drink, it's time for us to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the second story.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. La yin na da da da. So pa mediane nabe. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every young woman in Ghana is going to be empowered enough to be the light and the heart of our society.
I am committed to ensuring that these NGOs are supporting government efforts and not the opposite.
We have developed a very effective cycle of admitting and rehabilitating young women in need.
I want to be your soldier. I don't just want to be in the program. I want to be by your side.
Get her ready.
You're saved and you're brought here to make something of yourself. Only rule is that you stay as good girls. Our investigations here focus on organizations with a seemingly clean sheet.
You will fail. You know why? Because I never lose.
It's so tasty and irresistible. Today we are going to make beef stir fry the ongalicious way. First, season your beef strips with minced garlic and onga classic. Next, mix 2 tablespoons of soy sauce with a tablespoon of corn flour and water and set it aside. Now, pour some water into a saucepan. Add some salt and then cook your pasta strips till tender. It's now time for the real action. Put some oil in a pan. Add your beef and fry till golden brown. Then add some onions, carrots, mushrooms, and mixed bell peppers and stir the mixture. It's now time to add your cooked pasta and give it a good stir. Finally, add your soy sauce mixture and mix it till it's even. Serve, garnish with parsley, and enjoy. Ungalicious.
Welcome back. And if you're just joining us, this is Sister. So we actually read our first letter, and it's been an interesting conversation, and it's more about letting yourself heal. So if you're watching us, if you're the one that sent the first letter, please let yourself heal. It's very important. And we have a second letter here, and sisters, I'm going to go straight into it. So, we have here, dear sisters, I would have never imagined for one day that this relationship would go wrong. I sometimes question myself on where I went wrong in this relationship. I met my husband 3 years ago at a mutual friend's wedding. We spoke. He cracked a few jokes, which got me to admire his courage and sense of humor. We spoke, went on our first date, and I must say, it was a beautifully romantic night I don't ever want to remember. I don't ever want to forget, actually. I always want to remember. He asked me to be his girlfriend after a month, and I accepted. We did everything together, going to the gym, grocery shopping, going to the spa, going for evening walks and runs, eating at restaurants, trying new stuff, swimming, learning about each other's hobbies, and so on. We met each other's families and got along so well. We literally looked like twins, and our friends and families loved the sight of us being together. Everything looked so beautiful and perfect that it looked like a movie, or felt like a movie. 6 months down the line, my then boyfriend proposed marriage to me, and I accepted to be his wife. Fast forward, we got married in a simple ceremony with a lavish dinner. I love my husband so much that I cannot think of losing him. 1 year after we got married, my husband started revealing traits of an abusive husband. He got angry at every little thing, that he would beat me at every little argument. This has continued for all these years that I'm so scared of losing him to any other woman. I don't want another woman to get the lavish treatment that my husband gives me. On the other hand, the way he abuses me physically is getting worse by the day. I hate how he abuses me, but I can't see myself living my marriage of 3 years to another woman. I really love my husband, but I hate his abusive self. Note that I haven't told anybody about what I'm going through in my marriage. We have a 2-year-old daughter who has started asking me questions about why we quarrel so much lately. What happened to my caring, loving, and romantic husband? Sisters, I need your help. What should I do?
A sip.
A sip, yeah, yes. Let's sip on that. I could really say the answer right away, but... But sisters, yeah, for the sake of the show, let's just,
Yes.
I know, right? Okay, we can all just,
Yes, ready.
We can all just, oh God, Sisho, yeah, let's just start with you.
First of all, thank you, Rose, for the millinery, for this beautiful fascinator. Secondly, Bruce, this is dope. Let's go into it. See, I always say this. What comes first? It's like asking someone the chicken and the egg. You need to live to enjoy this marriage. Pico, don't kill yourself in the name of marriage.
Yeah.
People change.
Yes.
Humans change, contrary to whatever it is you hear. Humans change. Now, that being said, what exactly have you done about the situation since he started abusing you?
First of all, she said she has told no one.
It is wrong. In a marriage, I remember very well we had this conversation one time. When you are marrying someone, are there people that he respects, that he's shy of, that whose opinion matter in his life? If you meet a guy and nobody's opinion matter in his life, please don't marry that person.
I learned that the hard way.
Yes.
I learned that
the hard way too, and that's why it is like number one on the list. Who do you respect? Who can talk to you that, Charlie, this one, you won't go and beat your wife for? The moment that person says stop, you stop. If your man doesn't have anyone like that in his life, run for the hills, because there will come times like this.
So many people, a lot of running to do.
Yes, because there will come times like this in your marriage, even in relationships. There are things you won't know about someone when you're in a relationship with them. Yes, it's all rosy and beautiful, and yeah, you come just before things get nasty, you are already on your way to your house. So they can actually hold the anger and the pretense till you are saying bye-bye, and then they go, you know. But when you're in their space 24/7, that's where you actually get to see people's behavior patterns, their habits, all that. And this man has shown you clearly who he is. Now, at this point, you're already married. So let's tackle it from the marriage point of view. Does he have anyone like that you can actually go to and say, Papa, Mama, Auntie, he's doing this to me. I need you to sit him down and talk to us or talk to him. If there's nobody like that, that's already a huge red flag. Start taking to your heels. You get there early. Now, if there's somebody like that, start talking to this person, because abuse is a crucial, it is a dangerous ground to tread. We are all here, and we heard the story about the man, the singer, the Nigerian singer, whose husband abused her till she died. She complained to the church. The church says you must remain married. After she remained in this marriage till the death did them part. So for me, because if you've never experienced it also as a woman, you will never know how it feels to remain in a marriage with someone who is very abusive towards you. And I always say to people that abuse doesn't start overnight. It starts with one insult. It starts with one smirk.
Verbal abuse.
Yes. One thing that sounds like a joke, then it will translate into insult. Then it will translate to then you smile over it. Then it will translate you know?
An example, right?
Then it will translate to actual slap. Then now it will translate to beatings, boxing, like the person just needs a glove to just complete everything. It does not start overnight. And if it's gotten to the point where it's full-blown abuse, that's where you need to run. You must live, you must be alive to enjoy this thing called marriage. So if you feel like it's going to kill you, please, like I always say, nobody is keeping records. When you die, the most important thing they will say is, she had 3 children, she had 4 children. Nobody is going to say she remained married in an abusive relationship. Nobody is going to give you some nice cap for that.
Right.
So please run.
Renee.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. She mentioned that she doesn't want to leave her marriage for another woman to come enjoy.
Because of the things she's enjoying.
But you know that this enjoyment is coming with a lot of abuse. See, there is nothing to enjoy when there is abuse. He could buy you the beautiful clothes, the most expensive perfume, and he abuses you on top, physically abuses you on top. And I am very sure that it doesn't end at physically abusing her. This guy is abusing her emotionally as well. Because the punches will come with some words that will pierce your heart, that will pierce you. And if you haven't spoken to anyone at this stage, you're telling it to us alone. We can only do our bit here, but you need, like Sicho said, you need to speak to someone that your husband reveres, like someone your husband respects, that's an authority over your husband, that this is it. Papa or Mama says, stop this. This is not how even Christ told husbands to love their wives. Love is not abusive. What does 1 Corinthians 13 and 12 tell us? Love is not abusive. Let's learn about everything about love before we dish them out. Like, you see, when we don't live with somebody under the same roof and we are dating, there is a very big difference between dating and marriage. So because they're dating you, they want to woo you onto themselves. They do all the right things, and they're almost ticking all the right boxes. You move in with them under marriage, and then their weaknesses come to bear. And some of the weaknesses are so hard for us to take. That is when we are not saying run to everybody. No, run to an authority that your husband listens to. And so when you run to this authority and then everything is said and he says, okay, I'm going to change, and you go back home and he doesn't change, then you can separate. And that's how big you will die and you will be buried and you will be shocked. You'll be lying down in your coffin and you'll be like, oh, I should have left. I should have gone for shelter. And
you will remarry.
The
love in the world.
And then he will change.
And he will change. Because pepper has entered his eyes and he has changed. But let the pepper enter his eyes now that you are alive. So that even if it doesn't change, you have your life to protect and live for your daughter as well.
Right, Rosie, what do you think?
Yes.
See, most people who abuse women, before I come to the message directly, they are actually very nice people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice people.
Very
and that's why when you meet a man who is perfect, that's everything, dotes over you, is there for you, is everything, and like he just completes you. Like you say, this man just completes me. Like you can't see anything negative about this person. The likelihood that person is abusive is very high.
Yeah.
Number two, they will not abuse you, but check the relationship they have with their parents, their siblings, especially their sisters. So the relationship they have with their sister, with their mother, check that. Check the relationship we have with other people. Sometimes they're not angry at you, but when they get into traffic, how do they react when somebody does something? When a friend does something, how do they react? So you see them verbally reacting, sometimes even to your defense. But the question is that once the person is able to do these things, that animal is there. So most people who abuse in a relationship, most of the time, the women are caught off guard. But if you lie low and you listen and you pay attention to certain little detail, you realize that it was always there. It was always staring at you. He was just too nice, completing your sentences, trying to figure out what to, if it's your birthday, he has everything planned. All you have to do is to present yourself. You want to do something, oh, that's not nice, I'd rather prepare this for you instead. You know, all that kind of behavior, all that kind of way you lose yourself in the relationship. And everything is about what the man wants, how he wants it, when he wants done, no matter how nice it is. Sometimes all these are red flags that women need to pay attention to. And when things like that are happening, sometimes it's important that you allow the courtship to fester a little bit, get into the life of your partner, at least get in touch with the sisters, the friends, know the kind of person you are dealing with. Because half the time, the writings are always on the wall. That's what I have to say. Now, about the abusive relationship. Now, the way the woman is writing, the woman fell in love with the man she got married to. The woman is emotionally, mentally, physically invested in that man. Now, there's a part of her that is in denial about the new man she's experiencing. So it's not an issue about just getting up. I can say get up and leave. Yeah. But she's in a state where she can't picture the before and the after. And she's asking herself, what did I do? Now she's putting herself in a state where she's asking herself, am I the reason why this man is now behaving like this? So now instead of addressing the situation, she's questioning herself that, is this something I have done? Because she can't reconcile the two human beings. Now you have a child. Now depending on where you are coming from, if you are coming from a broken home and you didn't serve you well, sometimes you realize that when you get married, the fact that you didn't get married with the intention of leaving,
yes,
it gets very difficult to now just be confronted with the fact that you have to up and leave for the sake of you and the child. Something like, no, this child needs a father. Especially if the child is a girl, you say he needs a father to train her. If it's a boy, he needs a father to bring him up as to how he's. So at the end of the day, because of the children, you take a different path. So I will not falter her for her saying that she doesn't want to leave her 3-year-old marriage to move on. What I'll say is, like Sicho said, and Renee also said, if there's an authority that he actually listens to, and you will know, because there's that one person who, if the man says sit, he will sit, jump, he will jump. But even then, be very careful, because some of them will go and listen to them, and when they come home, they'll give you a beating of a lifetime, so that you never even think of going to them again, because they will see it as you have embarrassed me in front of that authority. Now, this is what I think, that look, women, when you are confronted with such abusers who are nice outside, sometimes you can't even tell someone. When you are telling, I say, Chris, my man is like this. Nobody believes you. They think, you are just complaining for nothing. You are just talking for nothing. They won't believe you, because to the outside world, this man is perfection. So this is what I think. Me, I always talk about exit plan. Exit plan. Now that you know that he's abusive, now that you know what you are confronted with, number one, accept the fact that this is the true man you married. Number two, if you are working, good for you. If you are not working, start looking for ways and means of earning an income for yourself. Number three, start documenting things. Start getting a circle of friends, trusted, or a circle, or maybe one friend or two friends, so that they also know what is happening in your mind. Not for them to interfere, but to serve as alibis as and when needed. Number four, mentally detach yourself from the man you met before and bring yourself to the realization that this is the man you are living with. Number five, get out. Now, if in the process he's a sensible man, some of them can sense that you are planning to exit. If it was a one-off or maybe some stress or something that is causing that, some may sit up and become better people. But to be honest, how long do you want to stay to find that out? Because the way she's talking, it means that at least every week she gets one. Every week she gets one beating. 1 week, one beating. We don't want that. So at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is that, look, sometimes it gets very difficult. You can't even explain to the other person what you are going, because only you know what you are going through. So me, I believe that have an exit plan. Plan first for yourself. Make sure you are okay. Because if you leave, you take your child and you can't take care of your child, then you now be sleeping with your ex. You now be your ex-husband's lover or something. That's also different. Or you now have to go back humbly, humility, to beg for ways and means of caring for the child, or even caring for yourself or doing. So don't rush out. I keep saying that, look, once you started noticing this, it's only 3 years, thank God. Don't let it fester to 7 years. Don't let it fester to 10 years, to 15 years. Start your exit plan. Start putting yourself right. Your work, if some properties you want to secure it. If some things you need to do it. Evidence, let evidence be there. Some things documented. When he beats you, take a picture, put it there, document it. You have to go and do a police report, go and do it, medical report. Even if you don't want police because it will be too murky, go to the hospital. Document that you have been beaten in the hospital. Know the hospital that you went. It is on file. Right. And you were abused, you were beaten, and this is the consequence. This is where you suffered abrasions. This is where your face was swollen. Document it. So at the end of the day, when you are living with a full pack. There's no court that would deny divorce, for instance, to a man who has been abusing, and they would award you things that look, listen, just have an exit plan and get out. If you do it you might have to go back humbly, because emotionally you are still invested, and maybe financially you don't have.
I want to add this to what my sister Rosie just said. It is very important to note that when you start getting abused, you hardly ever notice it. You hardly ever notice it until it's gotten out of hand. For most women, one slap, one insult, one bad word, you're like, you didn't do right. And for a man who wants to go full on abusive on you, yes, they will apologize here and there. So she should take note of that and observe when all these things start happening. And another crucial thing we women ignore. For most women, the moment they marry, yes, now is what they are doing for me, the properties, this, my children. But you need to think about yourself first. And it is important to upgrade while a man upgrades.
Yeah.
Because in this instance, she mentioned that she can't leave all the things, blah, blah, blah. If you have your own thing, you run to your thing. Let's say, for example, you have your own building somewhere that you've rented out when you married this person. Because you are married, you moved into his home. The moment he starts abusing you, bra and pacho too, I need to move back to my space.
Right,
you know?
right.
But you don't have anything.
Right.
You don't have any investment. You don't have anything. You don't have any education. Maybe you ended in SS or university graduates. Start finding your way to get your master's and upgrade yourself.
Right.
I always say, when your man has attended Harvard, sister, you to start looking for your way to go and get your master's
go to Yale.
Yes, go to Yale. Something.
Even if you can't go to Yale, go to Gimpa.
And sometimes that's what. Yes. And sometimes that's what now creates a huge gap, and you start to fear your leaving. But when you know that you are grounded, you can leave anytime because you know that, okay, I can take care of stuff from here on.
Right.
I can leave you and be okay.
And those men, their apologies are photo apologetic.
Yes.
Right. So we actually have like a man among us here, but I just want to hear your own perspective.
First off, I'm shy.
You better be. Your fellow men.
Yeah. That's very bad for the man to do that to the wife. Now, the sisters have said it all. She shouldn't think twice about it, saying she's trying to save the marriage. It won't work.
Yeah.
That's to start off with. It won't work because even if it's just once he's laid his hands on her, it will happen again.
Yes.
Right.
And
it's how should I say this? He's been hiding that with his niceness.
Yes. And one last thing I wanted to say before you cut me. You see, we always think we are saving our children. Our children need a father. But you are teaching your children that it is okay to be abused.
Or be in an abusive relationship.
The one time I left an abusive relationship, it was rather for my children. Because you need them to know that you are a strong woman. Wrong is wrong. And they should never condone or entertain it under any circumstance. So anytime you stay in an abusive relationship, rather tell yourself that you are teaching wrong to your children.
Right.
You are being a bad example to your children.
And see, the generation of kids that we have now, they are very intelligent.
Very
intelligent. A 2-year-old is asking you, why has the dad changed? That should quickly tell you that things are getting
They're very
out of
observant.
And sisters, they say that a real man wears pink. I want to add that a real man doesn't abuse a woman.
That's
whether
very
physically,
That's very
emotionally,
verbally,
whichever way.
Yeah.
Even financially, I know some men who can extort money from women, and you will be shocked.
Yeah.
A real man doesn't abuse any woman for any reason.
Yeah. If you're annoyed, walk out.
Yes.
Walk out and come back later.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes when even the woman is doing yabby yabby and you walk out, the woman is shy.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you come back, she lay the bed nicely for you and apologize nicely.
Let's say it
Walk
this
out.
way. What if it's the woman abusing a man? Would you be happy?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what you don't want to be done to you, I mean.
So nobody deserves to be abused, whether a husband or a wife.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves to be abused.
All right, sisters, thank you so much. Thank you so much for, all the advice, and I hope she is watching us. And if she's not watching us, I hope she told some friends about this, I mean, for you not to even have told anybody, it's problematic, but I'm just praying that you're actually watching us right now and you're taking notes and listening to everything that we said. But I want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you.
Welcome.
I mean, I can't do this alone. I can't do this alone. Because if you ask me, you know what I'll say. Get out. Anyway, any final words before we wrap up?
Well, I just say, look, your mental health, physical health, even for yourself, for the child is important. So sometimes you need to be selfless and do what is important for the child that you think you're protecting.
Right.
For me, I would say, look, get your own. Whether or not you've entered into a marriage, there should be nothing stopping you from getting your own and making a life for yourself. That way, it makes it easy for when anybody abuses you, either verbally, physically, emotionally, whatever, you can make a conscious decision which will help you and your children. Women, let's sit up and make things for our own as well.
Right.
And then also, let us not normalize abuse. Abuse is not the new. It's not cool. It is not cool. Cool is love. So let us love and love right and disassociate ourselves from, oh, he loves me, that's why he abuses me. No. That is hate.
Right.
Thank you.
And one last thing I wanted to say. I pray that women find women who can help them genuinely through things like this.
Right.
Because sometimes the woman's biggest enemy is another
woman.
woman.
Yes.
They would listen to you and go and pepper you to come and take over from you.
Any final words, please?
Like you say, to me, love is a religion. Love is wholesome. If this man you call your husband actually loves you, won't raise a hand on you.
Right.
So please, don't think twice.
Right. And also I want to thank you for the blue kamikaze.
Yes.
It's finished though. Mine is finished.
It's amazing. I can't believe it. The women are loving it. Okay, it's time for us to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'll be giving my final thoughts on both letters that we received on this show.
Magic pepper and onion. A delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yin da da da. So pa mediane no abe. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every young woman in Ghana is going to be empowered enough to be the light and the heart of our society.
I am committed to ensuring that these NGOs are supporting government efforts and not the opposite.
We have developed a very effective cycle of admitting and rehabilitating young women in need.
I want to be your soldier. I don't just want to be in the program. I want to be by your side.
Get her ready.
You're saved and you're brought here to make something of yourself. Only rule is that you stay as good girls. Our investigation still focus on organizations with a seemingly clean sheet.
You will fail. You know why? Because I never lose.
Welcome back. This is Sister coming to you live from City TV, and also we are on radio on City FM 97.3 FM. Anyway, we've actually read 2 letters, and the sisters have given their advice, and I want to say a very big thank you to each of the sisters for, putting out their thoughts and sharing their knowledge and on whatever they feel about these letters and also these topics. When I say topic, we've seen, issues of healing, we've seen issues of domestic abuse, which I'm about to give my final thoughts on. All right, so when it comes to the first story of, the lady not being able to contain that her sister is dating her ex-boyfriend, all I can say to that lady is, I think you need to let go. We have said this before, that you just need to let go and let yourself heal. It's time for you to let yourself heal. You can't keep holding on to the past, and you can't keep holding on to someone that is not interested in you. What do you think that relationship will be? Forcing yourself on a man that is not interested in you. Do you think it's all about prayers? Do you think it's all about convincing him? What do you really think? What are you expecting will happen? Let's be truthful to ourselves. Nothing. If you ask me, nothing will happen. There's no amount of convincing that will happen or will make him even turn and say, okay, let's give it a try, or let me love you. He has cheated on you before, and now he's with your sister. Why don't you just, let them be? move on. Give yourself time to heal. Healing is very important. Healing is actually very important in our well-being. So if you want to progress in everything that you do, if you want to progress mentally, if you want to be happy in life, it's just time to let it go. And I know we keep holding on to, a lot of dead weight, but, if you let the weight go, your blessings will come. So just be happy for your sister and let it go. And when it comes to the issue of domestic violence, like I said earlier on, I would have just said, run for your life. But I actually saw some things, or I actually saw some articles that have to do with domestic violence. And when my sisters were actually giving out the advice, Rosie said something about, living in denial. Disassociating yourself from really what's going on and from people. And those are actually the signs of psychological effects when it comes to physical abuse. So yes, sister, you haven't told anyone yet. You are sharing the story for the first time. And you not telling anyone yet is actually a sign of, psychological effects. So yes, you have started, getting the effects of domestic violence. And also, when it comes to the physical effects, you might get bruises, burns, broken bones, concussions, and you might even die. And I'm sure you don't want any of that. And having a child and your child asking you questions, I also want you to know that physical abuse can actually go from you to the child someday. So it's not about the child learning that it's okay to be abused, but one day he might hit your child. And what will happen if he hits your child someday and something happens to your child? Maybe the child gets into a concussion or death or a coma or something. Have you ever thought of that? And one thing that is really important when it comes to this topic of domestic violence, yes, we live in a society that women are not supposed to talk and share what's going on in their lives, but it's also very important for a woman to develop herself. Marriage is not like, I don't know how to say it.
It's not a destination.
Marriage is not a destination, and it's not a plan for a retirement plan. Marriage is not a retirement plan. So yeah, maybe you have a rich man or something, but you also need to develop yourself, because I see a lot of people, when they're married to men that are doing everything for them, they just relax. Let's note that every 5 years as a human being, you change. So if you're not changing and your partner is changing, you have a problem. You don't want to be where you are 5 years ago. You're supposed to change. There's supposed to be some kind of improvements, and you've been dating this man for too long and married for too long, and you're still in the same place, holding on to what he's giving you. Sis, you have a problem. You have a problem, and I think you are really holding on to this man maybe because you have nothing, which you need to rethink. Sis, try, to start developing yourselves. It's not about having a mansion. It's not about making millions of dollars or making millions of CDs. Even if you have, 100 CDs or 10 CDs, from a little business or something, your own to lean on. At least you can say you can rent 1 bedroom, when it gets worse. It's really very important. And to all women that are going through situations like this, don't just sit and fold your arms. You should have a plan B. Your exit plan also involves you trying to get some small money somewhere. At least you can rent a small bacha, like something to just cover your head when it gets worse. It's actually very important. But I'm sure you are listening and you're taking notes, and thank you for actually joining us on today's show. And a very big thank you to Bruce Services, and thank you to Ajikai for this wonderful outfit. I really appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in, because without you, this show wouldn't be possible. I hope to see you next week, same time, right here. Bye-bye.
city in ecstasy. After 33 long years, its football team is back to the promised land. Napoli are Italian champions again.
Nope, this is not carnival season. This is what happens when Neapolitans prepare for the biggest football party in 3 decades.
Naples is football crazy.
Nasci proprio con la passione azzurra, nasci con la voglia di andare allo stadio.
Napoli's first league titles were won with a certain Diego Armando Maradona. But soon after that success, his beloved club hit rock bottom. In 2004, Napoli went bankrupt and were relegated to the 3rd division.
Il Napoli Maradona era morto.
But Napoli managed to claw its way back from the grave, reinvent itself, and fight its way back into the elite, step by step.
They didn't just win the Italian league in 2023, they dominated it. And they also produced some eye-catching performances in the Champions League.
So what has happened here? I came to Naples to find out just how Napoli has regained its status as an international powerhouse.
Questo scudetto non è lo scudetto del caso, è lo scudetto della programmazione, lo scudetto delle idee.
Naples, Italy. Rich in history, which can be seen across the city. It's part of Italy's south, which is economically less developed than the country's north. This is also reflected in football terms. The Italian championship has long been dominated by northern teams, like Juventus here in the 1930s or Milan in the 1950s. Their victories were also down to, of course, money. Only one southern club had won Serie A, Cagliari in 1970. The North stole our wealth. That's what the first person I spoke to in Naples told me. And no, it wasn't this fellow. In the 80s, Napoli made a move that seemed almost unthinkable. They bought Barcelona's Diego Maradona for 12 million euros, which back in 1984 was an astronomical record amount. How was that possible? How could Napoli afford such a transfer? Journalist Antonio Corbo says the club emulated a trend. Italian football started to flirt with the financial world as well as another important sector.
Valorizzò l'elemento della politica e la Roma, grazie anche ad appoggi politici e a una buona conduzione societaria, vinse lo scudetto con l'Idolm e con Falcao in campo. Successivamente il presidente dell'epoca di Napoli, Ferlaino,